President-elect Donald Trump taking a victory lap last evening with a massive rally that he held in Cincinnati. He was out there thanking the country, thanking the voters, and promising a whole lot more winning in the future. Welcome, everybody, to America's Newsroom. I'm Martha McCallum.
And I'm Bill Hemmer. Good morning. That event, kind of the Donald Trump greatest hits last night.
It was, right?
That event taking a familiar tone as Mr. Trump called out the media several times. At one point, he egged on the audience saying, should I keep going? Maybe just a little more. Also exciting supporters and thanking them, and then talking about calls for change in American politics starting in January.
The script is not yet written. We do not know what the next page will read. But for the first time in a long time, what we do know is that the pages will be authored by each one of you. Each one of you.
Said it's an exciting time to be alive and that the script has not been written. Interesting moments last night from Donald Trump as he went back to Cincinnati to take a victory lap. Joining us for more on this now is our friend Chris Wallace, the anchor of Fox News Sunday. Chris, good morning. Good to see you this morning.
Morning to you, Martha.
So what did you make of all that last night?
Well, I have to say, it was awfully entertaining. I'm sitting at home. I'm not working, but my wife Lorraine and I sat there and watched it and laughed. And, you know, I've come to a conclusion, the Trump way. That's how he's going to do things. The Trump way, it's unlike any president-elect or, I suspect, president that I've ever known in my lifetime. But it's his way, and he's going to do it. And he had a big day yesterday because, look, you can argue whether or not in terms of policy, the idea of a president intervening with an individual company, I'm talking, of course, about Carrier leaving and trying to save jobs, whether that's a good idea or not. And obviously, a president can't micromanage every corporate decision. But it was a real statement to all of those working class Americans who voted for Trump. I'm going to keep my promises. I'm going to keep faith with you. And I'm going to put into place policies that are going to work to your benefit. And then, of course, he had that rally. And, it was funny watching it because there were dual speeches. There was the teleprompter speech, which was very high blown and unifying. And then he would just get bored and he'd ad lib off the speech and he'd proceed to take shots at the media or, all the so-called pundits who said that he had one path to 270. And it was like these dual conversations going on. And you could tell that the crowd there in Cincinnati just loved it. Yeah,
it's extraordinary. And you point this out. It's completely unconventional in terms of a president-elect period. The election was 3 weeks ago. He's still 7 weeks away from Inauguration Day. And yet, I think, to many people, and perhaps to him as well, it feels like he's already president. Here's President Obama when he was in the same position in 2007.
Now, the United States has only one government and one president at a time. And until January 20th of next year, that government is the current administration.
That's the old way of doing things. It doesn't seem to exist anymore.
Well, that's right. I mean, here he is saving 1,000 jobs, and he's president-elect. He has no real power at all, except, of course, he's got all the power in the world because everybody knows what he's going to be in 7 weeks. And I'm sure when he calls the chief executive of United Technologies, the parent company of Carrier, and it's the president-elect on the phone saying, hey, look, we got to figure something out for those 1,000 workers in Indiana. That guy must be looking at the phone like, I better take this pretty seriously. I mean, as I say, it's the Trump way. It is going to be totally unlike anything we've ever seen before. And, for good or for ill, but it's going to be Donald Trump's way. And I can't wait, and as I suspect a lot of Americans can't, to see what happens next.
And a lot of reporters, because it's going to keep us very busy, I think, for the next 4 years. You mentioned this before, and I want to play his comment on the press last night. Let's watch that.
And we won it big. But then the people back there, the extremely dishonest press, said, right? Very dishonest people.
So I don't know if that was a ball spiking or part of the victory tour, or if we're going to hear that at every whistle stop for the next 4 years, Chris.
I think it's not over yet. How long it's going to continue and how far he presses it. And look, to a certain degree, he was having fun with it when he talked about all the pundits on the air on election night. I hope he wasn't talking about you and me, Martha, saying, well, he's got one path to Sue's 70, and then he went, and as I say, I'm sitting there with my wife Lorraine watching it, and he goes, boom, 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 Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and I'm thinking, when was the last time we heard a president-elect say boom, 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 and you know, taking shots at us? As long as it's good-humored, I don't have any problem with it, and if it's serious, but, you know, I have to say, there were some wide shots, and you saw the people in the crowd turning and facing the press stand. That could be threatening, and there's the possibility of that getting out of hand. As long as it's good-humored, fine. If it becomes threatening, that's a danger.
Yeah, agreed. So we'll see where that goes. Chris, thank you so much. Always good to see you at the top of the hour on Friday morning, so don't miss Chris on Sunday. Senior advisor to Mr. Trump, Kellyanne Conway, who's been much in the news this morning. We've talked a lot about it. We're going to show a little bit more of that tense afternoon at Harvard University yesterday. She will be with Chris this weekend and talk about the president-elect's transition to the White House.
Conway's had a busy week. And if you haven't heard it, we're going to play some of the sound from Harvard. The emotions are still raw, very raw. Okay.